You are listening to the Retina UK online Wrexham local peer support group meeting recorded Tuesday, 3rd of May 2022.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for attending our launch meeting of our new Retina UK Wrexham local peer support group. Before I introduce Owen and Nia, our guest speakers for this evening, I'd like to introduce Richard Zimbler, who is going to be our volunteer facilitator for this meeting. Richard, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, so I'm Richard. I live in Mid Wales in Welshpool. I have a rare genetic syndrome called Bardet-Biedl syndrome, which has many different parts of retinal dystrophy in it. That's why I also go under the umbrella of Retina UK, because there are similar traits from the sight loss of the syndrome I've got, which are similar to RP. And my fiance, who is the facilitator for the Manchester group, I supported her on that, and that's how I met Mark. And then through there, I asked if he'd like me to facilitate the Wrexham group, because Wrexham is kind of like in between where I am here in Welshpool and going up towards like the northern part of Mid Wales and up into North Wales, and there hasn't really been much in the way for this part of Wales for groups for people. So I thought I'd lend a hand and see what I can do to help. So yeah, and I've been living with sight loss. I was first diagnosed when I was 6, and I'm now 38. So I've been living with sight loss for a long time. So hope everyone enjoys the group tonight. And thank you, Mark, for enrolling me as a Retina UK facilitator for this group.
You're very welcome, and thanks very much, Richard. So I'd like to introduce, first of all, Owen Williams from the Wales Council for the Blind, who's going to be speaking about the services and support that they can offer. And then Owen will pass over to Nia Greer, who will be speaking about some of the support services that Vision Support can provide those living in Wrexham and around the Cheshire West area. So I'll pass over to Owen now. Thank you very much for both of you for attending this evening's meeting.
Thank you, Mark, and nice to meet everybody, and lovely to meet Nia, to hear Nia again. Old friends, so it's nice to be back in touch. I'll give you a little bit about myself first. So I'm Owen Williams. I'm the director of Wales Council of the Blind. I have sight loss myself. I was born blind 48 years ago, showing my age now. I had congenital cataracts and nystagmus and quite a few complications when I was younger, and a fantastic surgeon who managed to restore quite a lot of vision in my right eye. And my left eye I call my passenger, but I am registered partially sighted. I've recently had some detached retinas, so some retinal work done in both eyes. So it's quite interesting to be part of Retina UK and hear a little bit about yourselves as well. I'm going to just start with who we are as an umbrella body. So Wales Council of the Blind do not provide direct services to people with sight loss. Not like the services that Nia will talk about shortly. But as an umbrella body, we support local, regional and national organisations, and really we're responsible for bringing the sector together on a number of different themes. As an independent organisation, one of the things that we do well is we provide a source of information to people with sight loss and professionals that support them. And we do that in a number of ways. So we have Sylw, which is our weekly bulletin, which goes out across the whole of Wales. It goes out to professionals, as I said. It goes out to actually about 4,000 people plus. So it's quite an extensive information resource. And what that enables us to do is to promote all of the work of the sector, the sight loss sector in Wales. So it's very little about WCB. In fact, we really have things in it. It's about organisations like Nia's, North Wales Society, and smaller societies across Wales and the work that they do. We also then have a monthly edition of Sylw, which goes out in accessible formats to people with sight loss. And we do that in a range of formats, from large print to audio and different variations, different electronic versions as well. And then we have a quarterly magazine called Roundup, which is more, Solo tends to be a line and a link. So it'll give you a short story and it takes you to a website or one of our members' websites to read more. Whereas Roundup is more of a news article, a newspaper, if you like, of such, that will give you more extensive stories and articles and things like research that's happening, or a particular focus on an organisation or a celebration of some work, or a particular focus on a service or support that's available. Now, one of the roles I talked about was bringing the sector together. So Wales Council of the Blind coordinates a forum called the Wales Vision Forum. And that involves all of the charities that work with people with sight loss in Wales. And what we do by coming together is that we work really hard to try and look at different campaigns, to change strategies, to work very closely with Welsh Government to influence services and support that are available for people with sight loss. And we've done a number of things around that. More recently, we've done quite an extensive piece of work around the scarcity of rehabilitation officers for the visually impaired. And of course, NIA's organisation will have rehab officers, and they do a wonderful job. We're very lucky to have pretty good coverage of rehabilitation officers in Wales, but we are concerned about the numbers. And we want to make sure that this invaluable service continues. So that's one example of the type of work we do and bring together. Another example is that as forum members, we sit on quite a lot of meetings across Wales that involve partners like Welsh Government, the health boards, regional partnership boards, and that type of thing. So what we do for individuals is that we provide a voice for people with sight loss onto these forums so that we can influence change. So if you have, say, for example, a problem, or you have concerns around accessing eye healthcare, or you have your appointments delayed, if you were to contact an organisation like us, the Wales Council of the Blind, what we would be able to do is put you in contact with one of our forum members that sits on that local group, so they can represent your views anonymously in many cases, or if you choose to be anonymous, that's absolutely fine. But they can then raise it with the health board to make sure that you get the best services available to you. We also do an awful lot of work with the low vision service in Wales. And one of the things that we're very proud of is we have a very unique low vision service in Wales. We have 190 accredited opticians that work across Wales, and we're doing some work around making sure that those low vision practitioners know who to refer to in the third sector within social care. And we're looking at referral pathways. So another exciting piece of work for WCB, but definitely for our members also, where we can make sure that we promote the work of all of our membership. And we do that through a portal called Perspective. So Perspective is an online portal that will give information and services, contact details and resources for all of our members, all of the organisations that support people with sight loss. So it's a very useful tool, and we'll be coming to NIA probably more likely to find out exactly what vision support are doing. We already know a lot of your services, but to make sure that they're all up to date and all listed correctly, so that when people go to low vision services in Wales, they can be handed over, they can be referred on to their local society and regional society, as well as some of the national services that are out there as well. The one good thing about the Wales Vision Forum is that it's very much about partnership, it's very much about cooperation. So from the smallest volunteer-led societies to the larger organisations like RNIB and Guide Dogs, we all sit around a table, a virtual table at the moment, but we share ideas and we work together, and we try and make positive changes for the lives of people with sight loss in Wales. We've also done some work around employment, and employment might be important to some people on this call, particularly around the Access to Work scheme and some of the barriers that people with sight loss are facing. We're always keen as an organisation to hear from people with sight loss with any problems that they have, whether it's employment or with not getting access to rehabilitation or timely rehabilitation, or whether they're having some concerns raised with their health board or appointments or anything. We'd like to hear from you. The one thing that WCB can do is act as that impartial, that independent voice, and be a spokesperson for you. We do have funding. We are funded from the Welsh Government. We receive a grant each year, and really for that core role, that umbrella role, to be the voice of the sector. And one of the things that we are doing, which might be of interest to Mark, is that we're in the process of organising an eye care conference that will, in conjunction with Welsh Government, that is in September this year. So there might be an opportunity for organisations like Retina UK to come and talk about the work you do, or if there's any research that you're doing, or any anything along those lines that could be of interest to a wider audience. And there's also some possibilities for some workshops in that eye care conference, so that may be of interest. That really is a whistle short tour of WCB. Mark, I can talk for longer, but equally it might be nice to hear a little bit from Nia and then come back to you, and we can, I can maybe pick up other things as we go along. But that's us in a nutshell. We're not a service provider. We don't provide direct services. Our role is to provide information and promote the work of all of our members across this wonderful services across Wales, and the broad services and support that our local, regional and national members offer.
Oh, no, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Owen. That was really informative. Yeah, well, we're always looking to support local sight loss organisations. I know we recently did a Wales Information Day. I believe it was last year, but we're always looking to engage and to collaborate with local partners. So yeah, forward over the dates, and I'll pass them on to my colleagues to see whether it's something that we can support you with.
Definitely. And the open offer, Sulu and our news, our independent information resources, you can benefit from. So, if there's anything you want to advertise in Wales, even if it's not, even if it's a UK event you want Welsh people to come to, even if it's, Retina UK have some news, you've got some research news or something like that, feel free to share it with us and we'll make sure we send it far and wide for you.
Yes, well, we've got a few dates actually coming up that you guys might like to share out, which I'll give full details at the end of the meeting, and any information that you want after this, we can catch up after the meeting in regards to our conference that's coming up, and that information days that we're already planning for 2022. So and if you're happy and you want to help us out with advertising them, that would be very much appreciated.
More than happy to do that. More than happy.
Thank you very much. So I'll pass over to Nia Greer, and then we'll have a bit of a chat. If anyone's got any Q&As, I can do a bit of a Q&A session after. If anyone hasn't actually got any questions, or if there's anything else you want to pick up, either Nia or Owen, then we can do that after. Not a problem.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Hello. I must apologise straight away. I have got two young boys who like to share all their lurgy with me. So if I start coughing and spluttering, it's blame them, because they've just given me their lurgy. Yeah, so my name's Nia and I'm the operations manager for Vision Support. So I'm the North Wales operations manager. Vision Support, we're your local sight loss charity, I suppose you'd call it, and we're really providing the services on the ground for people living with sight loss. So Vision Support cover Cheshire, but we also cover North East Wales, and that's my patch, and I'm allowed to say it's the best patch because I'm from Wales. Sorry, that's one of my boys shouting mummy in the background there, going to bed. So we offer lots of different services for people living with sight loss. I'm going to do, like Owen did, a real whistle-stop tour just to give you an idea of the services that we provide. So as I say, we cover all of North East Wales, so that's Wrexham, Denbighshire, Flintshire, and up to about Conway. And then we liaise really closely with our partners, the North Wales Society for the Blind as well, who's another organisation. But the great thing about working in the sight loss sector is I find that no one is precious over their patch. Everyone is working together to really provide them services and help people living with sight loss. So I just love working in the sight loss sector. So I suppose I should tell you a little bit about me, like Owen did. I've been visually impaired since birth with a congenital eye condition called optic nerve hyperplasia. And so I've lived with sight loss all my life, so I really know I've got that shared experience. I know the challenges and boundaries facing people living with sight loss. So I'm really passionate about the services that we provide. And like I say, I'll do a whistle-stop tour now into some of the services that we offer throughout North East Wales. So as Owen talked about before, the ROVI team, so the rehabilitation officers for the visually impaired, It's such an essential service, and as Owen said, it is we're a bit low on the ground at the moment in terms of staffing, and we could always, rovies are like gold dust, aren't they, Owen? But the rehabilitation officers for the visually impaired are there to provide that guidance, so help you live independently at home, go through your chopping. How do you chop vegetables with lower vision? How do you access reading materials? All the independent living skills, even advice about the lighting levels in your house. Would you benefit from a light above your plate so you can see your food on your plate? Should you have a light on your stairway so you can see it there? Really provide that every day hints and tips to help you make the most out of your vision. So that's in the home, but also they can provide mobility training. So with your white canes, white cane training, looking at other mobility aids that can help you live independently. So we have our Rovi team here, and we cover all the areas apart from Flintshire. We don't have Rovies in Flintshire, but we have them across all the other counties in North East Wales. We have a home visiting service. So people living with sight loss can feel lonely and isolated. So the home visiting service, I want this job. So to be a home visitor, basically, we go out to service users who have been identified as feeling lonely or isolated, and they'll go over and have a brew, have a chat, and really form that connection, and just every 4 to 6 weeks or so, just go and say hello and touch base and just catch up. And it doesn't have to be a conversation about sight loss. It can be what they've been watching on the telly, or family visits or anything like that. So that's a really valuable service. We also have a telephone befriended service, which I think it does what it says on the tin, to be honest. Many people, especially during COVID, have really benefited from the telephone befriending service. And it just gives you that friendly voice, that companion, that someone to speak to, just to reduce them feelings of loneliness and isolation. So the telephone befriending service is run by our volunteers, and they're fantastic. So that's our telephone befriending service. One of the services that I'm really passionate about, and it's not just because I manage it, it's our wellbeing service. So we have a team of counsellors at Vision Support, and this I'm sure I don't have to tell you all the impact that living with sight loss can have upon your emotional well-being overall. Just feeling of, I don't know about you, but sometimes you have them blind days where you just think, oh, why? When you're waiting for the bus in the rain while everyone else is driving past you, and you think, this is really rubbish. And you have them down days, but also coming to terms, especially with conditions like retinitis pigmentosa, where your vision just gradually deteriorates. You might get used to one level of vision, and then the next day or the next week, it can change again, and you feel like you're at square one again. So I think it's really important to speak about how you're feeling and develop coping mechanisms, and just speak through your emotions. And this is where the counselling service comes in, because it's great if you've got family, but sometimes it's nice to speak to someone who doesn't know you, who you don't feel like you have to put on a brave face. Or if you feel like you just want to have a really good moan, you want to speak to someone who maybe you don't know, that kind of lay person. So our counselling service is so valued. It's absolutely thriving, and there isn't a large waiting list for it. And it's, again, you don't have to just speak about sight loss. We're individuals, we've all got busy lives. We all may have many factors that are impacting upon our well-being. So our counselling service is there to provide that emotional support. Now, another service I'm really proud about is our digital skills service. So our digital inclusion team. So we've got a great team. We've got Kate for the North Wales area, and she can come to your home and provide one-to-one training but also we encourage people to come to our base at Wrexham as well, because we have got a base at Wrexham. And Kate can provide training on your Alexa, any device that you have, advice and guidance on how to make the most out of that device, how to make it more accessible. She's so clever and she's really, really useful service. It's such a popular service. And I think just speaking to someone, I remember when I first met Owen, when I had my my different assessments, and the other like the independence that a bit of technology can provide is just absolutely phenomenal. So our digital inclusion team is just such a fantastic service, and we cover all of North East Wales with that service. Peer support opportunities, just like this one, we offer lots of social groups all across North East Wales. And one of them, we have a really, really vibrant social group in Wrexham, and Kundai goes to it, so Kundai can vouch for it. It's such a lovely, friendly, vibrant, fun group. There's about 20 members. We meet once a month in the centre of Wrexham. It's run by wonderful volunteers called Sue and Pam, and it's just going from strength to strength. We have different activities and speakers, and it really gives people the opportunity, no matter what eye condition you have, to meet others who are in the same boat to certain levels, you know. And I was in a meeting I think it was last week, and someone said, oh, I'm really struggling to do this. And someone said, oh, have you tried that? And then at another table, someone said, oh, you know, the other day I walked into some glass doors and they're like, oh God, I hate it when that happens. I did that. You just can't see it. And it's just making them feelings, normalizing them, and everyone's in the same boat. And it's just, there's just such lovely social groups. We do have virtual social groups as well. One of the social groups that I'm really interested in is the working age social group that we have. So as we all know, sight loss predominantly affects people who are older, but conditions such as retinitis pigmentosa can affect people when you're younger in life. So people who are of working age experiencing same problems, so accessing employment, lots of other things, access to work, the joys of access to work. And so we have a working age group where we meet once a month. We meet virtually and face to face, and we just have a chat, and we just meet in a restaurant or a pub, and it's lovely. It's really good, again, vibrant group, and I love it because everyone's sharing their own thoughts and experiences, and how, you know, all about their sight loss and the problems that they're having, or any tips that they have about technology. And it's a really lovely group to be part of. We also have welfare rights advice and guidance. So we all know how problematic applying for PIP can be, or attendance allowance or anything like that. You have to be a guidance, or help in appeals as well. So we can provide that advice and guidance. And we also have our information outreach vehicle, who travels all throughout North East Wales and parts of Chester. And we basically a travelling resource centre, which is fantastic. And there's Kyrwin and Graham who are on there, and they provide that information guidance, because I'm really passionate about bringing services to people, especially when, you know, there's reduction in public transport, and Wales, we live in quite rural areas, so accessing resource centres can be problematic. So I think I'm really, really proud of our information vehicle, because we're bringing services to you. So that's a really fantastic and, again, valuable service. And I want to echo what Owen said, really. I was a low vision practitioner in Preston for about 5 years, delivering the low vision service. So I was doing the assessments, and the survey, I've noticed such a big difference in the provision in North Wales, and how lucky we are to be able to, you know, to be assessed and to access these vital bits of equipment like magnifiers. And I'm really passionate about making sure that people know about the services like the low vision service that are available on a local level. And that's where vision support and the local sight loss charities really come in and work in conjunction with Wales Council for the Blind. So that is, like Owen said, a real whistle-stop tour into our services. And we're always looking for any advice, if you have any ideas of any services we can provide, or you want to get involved in anything, or you want to do a campaign on a local level. As you can tell, I can talk for Britain. So I would like any ideas we can get involved in. Owen, if we can do anything with the low vision service or any campaigns, then we can rally the troops and get involved. So that is
Fantastic.
a bit about me and vision support.
Yeah. That was brilliant. Thank you very, very much. So much stuff going on for what you guys do. It's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, it's an amazing sector. Sight loss sector is such an amazing sector to be part of. And I think we're really lucky to meet different people every day. Not one person is the same. You might have the same eye condition, but everyone is experiencing different challenges, and it's amazing. And there's so much out there, so much support.
Everyone's got their own unique story as well to tell, which I find very inspiring, especially when someone's got an inspirational story or sight loss journey that they've been on. It just lifts people's their well-being and everything like that. So no, it's fantastic what you guys both do to support the visually impaired, across the third sector and the sight loss sector and everything, and if we can work together, moving forward to try and promote new groups, not just in the new one in Cardiff and a new one in Wrexham, but other parts of Wales as well, then it will bring more people together. And that is basically my role, is to bring people together with sight loss who are completely blind or partially sighted, and bring them around a table for them to share their experiences and to learn from one another how to adapt, how to cope with their sight loss, learn new skills, new techniques, like you say, new trades, get them back into work or education, and just to make sure, just let them know that sight loss is only one sense, and you can carry on and still live a normal, happy life.
Absolutely. I think the charity sector in general, though, so vision support is part of the sight loss sector, but just in generally the third sector, there are so many other organisations that we're signposting to all the time that can provide other support, because you can't be experts at everything, can you? So, for example, in Wrexham, there's a project called the Job Sense Project, which is for people living with sensory loss, and the aim of that project is to help people with sensory loss find work and get into work and provide courses and training and things like that. And it's great to be part of that community, isn't it?
Definitely. And you've got the Managing Better project, which also works with sensory loss. There's quite a lot, and as Nia said, there's quite a lot of projects that are out there that we all promote into and signpost into. And also we work very closely with other disability partners. So we're a member of something called the Wales Disability Reference Group. So we work with Learning Disability Wales, Wales Council of the Deaf, Disability Wales and Mind Cymru. And that's very, very useful, because we can then ensure that sight loss has a voice within the bigger disability discussions, but also specific discussions around things like learning disability and mental health as well. So, I guess that's one of the strengths of an umbrella body, is that we can try and bring the voice to the sight loss sector, to as many different meetings and platforms as we can.
No, it's very much appreciated. No, thank you very much for your time this evening. Does anybody have any questions for either Owen or Nia?
Just to ask, how do I sign up to the Wales Council for the Blind, Owen?
If Mark can send me your email address, we'll sign you up. It's completely free.
Yeah,
excellent. And it's a good. I'm not just saying it is a good resource. It's designed to be as easy to use as possible. It's fully accessible. You can scan through or read through of a screen reader, read the email quite quickly, and then if there's an article you find is of interest to you, you click on it and it takes you away either to our website or to the host organization's website.
Well, if because what we do is we send out a follow-up email, Owen. So if you guys have got any information or links to how people can get involved, sign up, find out more information, if you can provide that to me, then if it's okay, I'll make sure that information goes in our follow-up email. So everybody that's come on the meeting this evening will be able to receive that information.
That's fine. Of course I can.
Yeah, no. That's not a problem, you know.
I'll do that on Thursday, Mark, if that's okay. I'm in London all day tomorrow.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Like I say, if you do have, please feel free to share. Obviously not personal information, but if you've got any email addresses or of like a particular mailbox, like info at or a website or links or anything like that that you want to share now, then please feel free. If not, you know, if you wanted to pop it into an email for us, then I can share it that way.
That's good.
Owen, I've got a question for you.
Go on. Yeah.
So how does Wales Council for the Blind, do you come under Visionary as well? Because obviously that's an umbrella organisation as well. So do you come under them as well? Or are you kind of like the Welsh version of Visionary? Because I've lived in Preston for 12 years. I've only just moved back to Wales. So just trying to see how everything fits in together as like a jigsaw, which I'm sure we all do, but... We
work very, very closely with Visionary. In fact, yeah, it's funny you should say I'm the chair of Visionary. We do it. So WCB is the umbrella in Wales. Visionary is the umbrella across, across England, Scotland, the UK, I suppose. But we have very, very close working relationships, and we're seen in Wales as the umbrella through Visionary. But the relationships couldn't be better. We do so much together. We share each other's work, and we put our members in touch. In fact, our members in Wales, the local and regional societies that are members of WCB, have free membership to Visionary. So we encourage that and we promote that. So it also means that if Visionary are doing events or they've got expertise that we don't have, for example, we can make sure that our members can use that resource as well. So the relationship's very, very good, very strong.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out how we all work together.
It does. It's a puzzle that fits well actually at the moment.
It
does fit well.
And again, it's a really good example of how we're not, as a sector, we're not kind of precious at all. We're all there for the greater good, really. So it's
there's enough work for all of us to do. There really is. Sadly, yeah.
Yeah.
Nia, can I ask? I'm a bit of a gate crasher. I'm actually from Manchester. I'm Richard's fiance. I run the Manchester group. You used to work at Galloway's, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I recognised the voice as well.
I recognise the voice of the recordings there. I run the Manchester local peer support group for Retina UK.
Right, okay.
Rich is my fiance, so I'm gate crashing, but I'm in Wales. I live in Wales and in England. I'm in between the two borders, so
I worked for Galloway's for 8 years as a sight loss advisor and low vision practitioner, and then I had my twins, and I thought, blimey, I need all hands on deck. Moved back to Wales.
As soon as you started talking, I was like, used to do the recordings on the Galloway's and do all the sight loss stuff. Never forget a voice.
Oh my gosh.
The reputation precedes you, Nia. Everyone knows you.
I'm glad I haven't got my camera now because I've actually gone red.
Just to say though, Nia, I've got some skills I might be able to help with vision support, because I'm a technology geek, and also there's other things I could help out with as well. So
Rich won't tell you this. Rich won't tell you in here, but he's actually a tech for life for the RNIB. So if I've got a problem with technology, Rich, darling,
absolutely. We've got lots of volunteer roles. It doesn't really matter where you are these days, because a lot of it is virtual. So we're always looking for digital skills volunteers. So I'm definitely going to send all my information to Mark. So you can all get in contact. And like I said, we've got a really good working age group that meet face-to-face and virtually. So more the merrier, really. So please, it'd be wonderful to have you.
Yeah.
On the note of technology, crikey, it's changed a lot over the years, Nia. I mean, I remember when I first went to see Nia, we were very limited with what we can have, but the almost the improvement of technology in general for Apple, through that type of thing, through iPads, iPhones, and other devices, obviously are available. But it's made made life so much easier for those of us with sight loss. I mean, I wouldn't do without my iPad now.
No, well, I had a Samsung beforehand, and I went to an iPhone. And when I got my iPhone, Rich had to spend 4 hours with me because I wanted to lob the iPhone out the window, and he was like, "It's fine. Put the voiceover on. I'll show you what to do." And he went through everything with me because I'd never had an iPhone. And like you say, the technology now, you can do everything on it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, you can do, yeah. But I'll make a cup of tea.
No, that'd be good, wouldn't it? I always remember when I first started at Galloway's, before we had our tech team at Galloway's, I used to do like little bits and bobs, like teaching people how to use Siri and things. And I always remember I had for my husband, Matt, I had 2 numbers in my phone for him because he had his home phone and then his mobile phone, and I wasn't tech savvy enough to like merge them together at that point. So I was showing this older gentleman, look, if you just say this, it'll call someone. So I said, look, and I said, "Hey Siri, call my boyfriend." And it said, "Which one?" And he was like, "Oh," and I was like, "No, it's just because I've got it's down twice in my phone." He wouldn't believe me.
The thing is, you've got to be so careful if you use, because I do a lot of emails because I'm a trustee on the board for Bardet-Biedl syndrome UK, which is the syndrome both myself and Rich have got. And when you do the emails, make sure you always read the email back, because the one time I didn't, let's say I probably couldn't repeat what was in the email, and then I had to send messages around. So I'm really sorry, and I luckily could recall the email, but now I've learned from that mistake that always read it back before you press send.
It's the same when you talk to messages and stuff like that. Google Assistant and Siri are brilliant, but sometimes they don't know every single word, and all you need to do is get that word just wrong, and it's the wrong word at the wrong time, and then someone comes back to you and say, "Well, you meant to write that," and it's like, "Oh dear, autocorrect," or Siri's got it wrong. And you are left with quite a red face. But like you say, Rach, always check your emails, proofread.
Oh yeah, I've come a cropper of that one. I know now. Instead of putting XXX, it put sex, and I was like, oh my dear, swallow me up now, please.
Or sometimes when you put XX, it'll put actually the word EXEX instead of.
Oh yeah.
Does it?
Yeah. Technology is wonderful when it works for you. When it doesn't work or you can't get it to shut up, I'm like Rich. I'm very tech savvy. I love voice activated stuff. I've got the Googles everywhere. They're all connected to the lights. They're connected to the thermostat. But then sometimes it just does. Sometimes you ask Google something and it just goes off on its one, or it will just start talking to you without even asking it anything.
Yeah.
And you're just thinking, oh, just shush. Even the voiceover, that I've got on my laptop, it will start just reading off all of my emails. I didn't ask it to, but then it gets itself into this really bizarre loop that won't shut up, and I have to end up having to switch it off after a while because it will just drive you mad. So
what you can do, Mark, if it does that, just press control, because that'll stop. They won't turn the voiceover off, but it'll just stop it from talking. Yeah.
Well, that's why I didn't join till a bit later, because I had the link on my phone, but the link on the phone wouldn't link to Zoom. Even though I'd updated Zoom, it still wouldn't work. So then I was like, I'm going to get my iPad. And the iPad works. So who knows? There's a gremlin in the phone.
Yeah, there is a gremlin. There's always a gremlin.
There's lots.
Yeah, my boys have started to figure out how to get Alexa to turn on now. So when we're getting we've got an Alexa in their room to play white noise. And just as they're going to sleep, one of them will go, "Alexa, play Baby Shark." And then just Baby Shark moving out. So now we've had to turn the kids' controls on them because they're savvy to Alexa now. Yeah, they were about to fall asleep, and then Tom said, "Alexa, play Baby Shark." And they just both jumped out of their beds and started dancing to Baby Shark. So,
Oh, you've set it off. Alexa,
yeah.
Alexa, stop.
Oh yeah, play it, Alexa. It like
They
being
start
everyone's
saying it in the
Alexa.
background. Play it, please. We don't need Baby Shark.
I've got 5 of them, and I've had to change the wake words. It's crazy.
5 of them. Wow. You have one in every room.
Yeah.
He sure has, and they've all got different names. So you'll be sat in say you sat in his living room, and I'll just go, "Hey," he won't do anything. I'm going, "Hey," and then he goes, "No, remember?" And I go, "Oh yeah, that one's called Echo, isn't it?" Or it's called Bedroom. And I'm thinking, just have them all the same name. It's so much more simple.
Oh my gosh.
And just for random, I've got some of them with the female voice and some of them with the male voice. It's brilliant.
Got like a party every night.
Extra party.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh, I think
someone's talking.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, thank you. From the information you have, do you have any information about someone who can teach deaf-blind language?
What BSL you mean? British Sign Language?
No, deaf-blind.
Oh,
I think you said deaf-blind.
deaf-blind. Oh,
Does it mean Deafblind UK? You can get me them.
Deafblind UK would be one. Sense Cymru might be another. I can get you some details, Mark, for Sense Cymru or Deafblind UK, and then maybe forward them on.
Yeah, I know the chap Mike who runs the deafblind services for Wales. So Kundai, I can have a chat to you tomorrow, and I can ask him I can send your details on to him as well. But Sense Cymru is a good shout as well.
Yeah, I would try your one first. So if you've got a contact, Nia, that would be probably better.
Yeah.
And if you don't get anywhere, let me know, and we can talk to Sense Cymru.
Yeah, I'll put it on the list. I'll give you a call tomorrow, Kundai.
Thank you. Because as a deaf-blind person, they are both deteriorating, the sight and the hearing. So I'm thinking maybe if I learn deaf-blind language, it would help me in future.
Yeah, understand that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Gives you more options as well, and options are always a good thing, aren't they?
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Has anyone got any other questions, or any you would like to have got a bit of time? It's just coming up to 8 o'clock now. 2 minutes to 8, so we've got a little bit of time to have a bit of a chat.
Well, just thank you for letting us speak. It's been really lovely to speak to everyone.
No,
definitely. And if you need anything else, you know, Nia and I will both share our details, and you know, if you've got anything, be in contact. And I'm sure I'll be in regular contact with Nia now, and definitely know she's around. So that's it now. You won't keep us apart.
Yeah, that's it now. We're gonna set up team meetings. Sorted.
If anyone wants to get in touch with Retina UK, we, as I said, Owen, we have a annual conference. We've got a professionals conference on the 8th of July, and then we've got a general conference on the Saturday, the 9th. So if I passed on that information, if you wouldn't mind sort of sharing that across. It's going to be in Birmingham this year at the Burlington Hotel, just opposite the station. So the registration is open now on our website as well. So, and also I think we still have about 24 hours before it closes. we have a sight loss survey that is actually being circulated at the moment, which can actually be completed online. I think the closing date is the close of business, 5 o'clock tomorrow. So there is still a little bit of time for anybody that wants to complete our sight loss survey for 2022, which we do every 3 years. You still have time to do it. So I'll try and get that information over to you tomorrow as well, which if you don't mind sharing that, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think also the
I completed the survey.
Oh, thank you very, very much. Thank you. I've completed mine as well. So it's very, very useful information to help us improve and grow our services, to find out exactly what the our blind and visually impaired community that have got inherited sight loss actually require, what they need, what they find frustrating, you know, what services work for them, what don't work, you know, what information days they would like to have and where. It's just really, really good information for us to pull together and share as well. You know, as soon as the information is collated, then we share it across the third sector. It's very, very helpful for things like campaigning and improving services across the UK. So it's an invaluable piece of information that we can't gather without the support of our community. So it's much appreciated to everyone that's actually completed that. What's coming up next?
Just to say, Mark, also with the conference, for those that, because like you, I think Neil was saying, the fact that with the people living in Wales, you're all over, you have got people who live rurally. The conference is actually in person and it's also on Zoom.
That is very true.
So if you get anybody that wants to go the professionals day and the main day on the Saturday, they're both on Zoom as well as face to face. So each of them, you can access them. Just thinking, you said you had quite a few rural people, didn't you, as well? So that might be something for them to get involved in.
That's very true. Thanks.
No, that's useful to know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I say, if anybody wants to sort of get involved in Retina UK, we've got a helpline that's open 9:30 until 9:30 at night, Monday to Friday. The number is 0300 111 4000. We also have other services that Retina UK provide, obviously the local peer groups that we're growing throughout 2022. We've had 7 new locations this year alone, and we're hoping to have up to 60 meetings this year. And then we've got new locations penned for 2023. So if you guys have any of your members that are interested in setting up a group anywhere in Wales, then let us know and we'll see whether we can make it work for next year. We also have a talk and support service as well, where if people are struggling with their sight loss, they can get in touch with us for a one-to-one peer support, where we will match them up with a volunteer that is also living with sight loss. So again, you can relate to them, you can understand the challenges that are going through, and if anybody is interested in that, then they can contact services@retinauk.org.uk or info@retinauk.org.uk for more information. Any information will come through to me because again, that's a service that I control and I look after. So if anyone does need one-to-one peer support, then pass the information on to me and I'll give them a call.
Brilliant.
Excellent. So,
great to know.
Also research as well. We've got lots of, like you said, Owen, we've got lots of information going on to our website in regards to research. We have got a portal on our website that links to something called Unlock Genetics. So if anyone's interested in getting genetic counselling and genetic testing for their inherited sight loss, then that would be an ideal platform to learn a little bit more. If you're curious to know how to do it, where to go, or you're unsure, then there's lots of information on that, as well as research news, both gene specific and also non-gene specific as well, which are being conducted locally, nationally, and also internationally as well, Europe and America. So there's lots going on. So you can visit our research portal on our website to find out more information about what's going on. So I'll add that into our follow-up.
Please, that would be useful, actually.
Yeah, not a problem at all. I can do that.
I had the blood taken for genetic testing. How long does it take to get the results?
Personally, for myself, I was a part of the 100,000 Genome Project, which happened a few years back, and I was waiting, must have been about 18 months to 2 years. Unfortunately, it's not a fast process, but the information that you do receive eventually is invaluable. I went probably about 28 years before I knew exactly what gene was responsible, 40 gene for my RP, but it was worth the wait. So you know, I think patience is a virtue, as they say, in terms of this. So yeah, it could take up to 18 months. It may be faster, but that's usually that's what I had to wait personally. It may be different from anybody else. But yeah, that's in a nutshell.
But do they communicate, like when they get the blood during the course? Because since I had the blood taken, I haven't heard from them.
Usually, again, every clinic and hospital specialist is slightly different. Now, I know when I received some communications through the post, and then it was explained to me in more detail when I went for my annual checkup. They had the information, and they kind of just went through the whole thing from start to finish of the information. They found the gene that was the mutated gene that was responsible for my RP and both my younger brother as well, and how it formed, where it come from, you know, what type of RP that I had, and it was all explained to me at my next annual checkup, and I usually have them every 18 months as well. So you will receive information in the post, or you will receive a telephone call, you know, or they'll just explain to you when the results are in at your local at your next annual checkup. If I presume that you go to an annual checkup.
Thank you. I have this problem. I lived in Manchester and transferred to Wrexham in 2018, and Manchester I unit referred me to Wrexham, but since 2018 I haven't been seen by an ophthalmologist. They sent me a letter saying we received your referral, but because of the coronavirus, you are on the waiting list. But till now, I am on the waiting list.
Unfortunately,
It's had such a massive impact on waiting lists, isn't it, COVID?
Yeah, COVID.
It's a big problem. We've discussed it at quite senior level, and Welsh government are aware of it, and the local authorities, the health boards are aware of it. They're trying all they can to reduce the numbers, but there has been a huge impact on capacity and waiting lists because of COVID.
Yeah, I think there's a lot like that, isn't it? It's like I've been waiting for a My Guide through guide dogs for just over 3 years, and finally last week I've been matched with a My Guide.
Oh, great!
Because of COVID, the patience has paid off eventually. I've been like, I've been missed off the list, but they're like, no, COVID, and it takes time. You just have to wait, don't you? You just have to hold your horses, and hopefully, eventually, they find you somebody, which they have done with me. So
fantastic! You get there in the end.
yeah, you do.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you, everyone that's attended today and tonight. Sorry, and thank you very much to Owen and Nia for your talks. It was very interesting, and I'm sure the information when we put it onto our YouTube channel will draw some interest. But I really do appreciate your time this evening, and to everyone that's come along, and I wish Richard all the best with his Wrexham group, and he's got my full support to help grow this group, and we'll eventually, in not too distant future, we'll get this group up and running to a face-to-face meeting where we can all sort of be in a room together and sort of chat like we are at the moment.
Yeah,
definitely. And Richard, if there's anything we can do in the future, please let us know. Happy to help in any way.
Excellent.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Well, thank you all, and lovely to meet you all. And I'm
and
sure we'll see you all again soon.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. We'll stay in touch. Like I say, if anybody has any further questions, then call me.
Brilliant. Thank you. Take care. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye, one. Bye, one.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
We hope you have enjoyed this recording. If you have any questions, queries, or wish to leave any feedback, then please leave it in the comment section below. Alternatively, you can send your inquiries to info@retinauk.org.uk. Contact us via the telephone on 01280 821 334 or call our helpline on 0300 111 4000, which is open Monday to Friday 9:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. If you would like to know more about our local peer groups, when your next meeting will be held, or if you wish to get involved in creating your own group, or would like to know more about our services that Retina UK provides, then please visit our information and support page on our website www.retinauk.org.uk and navigate to our local peer group page. Thanks again for listening. We hope to see you again soon. Take care and bye for now.